Welcome to Free For All.
Margaret.
We're down here on 18th Street in Washington, D.C. We're looking for Margaret Schnipper.
DCAC. This is the place.
Margaret! Margaret!
Margaret.
Let's go around front.
All right.
This must not be the right way in.
Move.
Open up! Art, please!
Hi, welcome to Free For All. I'm Kim Cummins.
And I'm Miles Anderson.
And this is Margaret Schnipper. And this is her place. This is DC Art Center. Right?
Right.
But it looks, what did this used to be?
This actually was it's a carriage house. It's a renovated carriage house. Before we were able to turn it into the performance space, which it now is, it was a studio for artists.
This is art installation here. This is not just a bunch of crap on our porch. Look at this. See this? Stuff. This is functional. It's not. It's art. It is the function of art to pique our curiosity, amaze and confound us, and confuse us. Look right here, you see another piece of installed stuff here, lead over copper pipe. See, 3 pipes like this, one like this. Very weird. Last but not least, the ball. Sort of a musical installation piece.
Tell me when. Now, we've left the performance space and we're now in the gallery, right?
This is our exhibition space. This is half of it. It is what used to be 2 railroad-style apartments, which are now joined together to have one large gallery. This is our sculpture show. It just opened last weekend, and will be up through June 16th.
So, what do you want to ask Margaret when we get back to the studio?
Well, let's ask her how somebody who thinks they're a good artist or a good performer can get in here.
If you were just starting out and you're a painter or you're a dancer or you're a musician, it's really hard to sort of get going without having to go through selling yourself out in a lot of ways. And so we're here to say, well, look, you're creating, you're energetic.
You got to make it commercial for someone.
Right, without going to commercial.
You have to change your message or what do you want to do.
Right. So we're trying to let people have a chance without having to go the commercial route.
Well, give us an idea. Talk about some of the shows you've done recently. You did this Censored in the 90s?
Right, right.
What was that? What were some of the acts in that?
That was a lot of fun. That was 2 evenings of censorable performances, and I use the term censorable loosely because, I mean, a lot of people showed up going like, so everyone's taking off their clothes, right? And that's what censorship is about. And we're trying, right? And we're trying to make a point that censorship is really applicable in so many ways. So many people are forced to censor themselves because they have certain grant monies, so they can't say certain things that would be conflicting the interests of the people who are supporting them, right. Or maybe the subject matter is a little too racy for certain places where they've performed, so they can't. They're saying, "Well, tone it down," or they're reading on the radio. They're poets. They're told you can't say this over the airwaves. So I thought, well, shoot, there's so many different performers who have things that they want to bring out to an audience, but haven't had the opportunity to do it, and because they could be censored. Right. And in some cases, it was because it was a performance that involved nudity.
So a lot of it's political? It has a political message?
There are a lot of political messages. Actually, to sum up the 2 evenings, there were people reciting poetry and prose. There was dance, there was video, there was film, there's performance art, and there was music. And a lot of it was very political or very racial.
Miles, you saw that, didn't you?
I saw the show, and it made me think about censorship and commercialism and all these other factors. I think that there's a lot of self-censorship because you're not going to have success otherwise. You cannot go out and use and do certain things and have a wide commercial success.
Right.
So we're talking about artists that are doomed to be small because their message is outrageous to all but, like-minded people.
Yes and no, only because sometimes these people are going to be commercially successful, but there's still one piece that they couldn't perform, and so this is like a little bit out of their general
So
performance.
it's like all the old masters used to have pornographic paintings they would do that nobody ever saw. And 200 years later, of course, they did. Well, you saw the Mapplethorpe show, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
And as part of a community that's trying to get funds from the government, from everywhere else, what are your feelings about this? That since you have to depend upon the contributions of people who are interested in art for money, do you feel the pressure to censor your own shows, like the people at the courtroom did?
I have yet to be put in that position, and so I consider myself lucky in that respect. Really, we're trying to avoid that position at all costs.
I'm sure one of the courtroom would have liked to avoid it too.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you're not going to be able to avoid it indefinitely. You're bent on wanting to free up, to provide a free space for Washington artists to come in and perform and put up paintings about whatever they're about. And it seems to me you're going to eventually be asking people for money who might be offended by the things that are in your shows. And I just want to know, how you feel about that. Do you think you should censor your shows or not go to those people, or what?
Well,
should you make them give you money despite the fact that they hate the art, or?
Well, there are certain ways around that. I mean, I'm finding that the whole game of fundraising is tricky, and it's something I'm just experiencing it. So I don't have all the answers to that question. But there are ways around it in that you can direct money in certain ways if people have a sense of they want to make sure that their name isn't associated with things that they wouldn't approve of. You make sure it's not.
Make sure it's an honest gift.
Right, and you make sure that, the point is that we want to encompass so many different things with the gallery that we're not going to be just like sort of pigeonholed into one type of art space or gallery, performance space or gallery, that it'll be something that when they give money, they won't feel like if they're giving to this organization that the organization only has one look,
Right,
and so
understand.
it can be worked around, and it's like some people give general money and say, we like what you're doing, we like that you're being really creative and just letting anything go. Take my money and do what you want with it. And I love people like that.
Right.
But we have such an artocracy here, I guess. I mean, we've got J. Carter Brown and the National Gallery, we've got the Kennedy Center, we've got the Corcoran, we've got the Renwick. But you're giving the impression that these people, the establishment of the art world, really are not doing much for artists.
Local artists, they're not doing a lot for local artists. I think that one of the problems that Washington has internationally, its reputation, is that there are no local artists here. There are only institutions, and it's really not at all true. There are some amazingly talented people right here, yes, in the nation's capital. And
name me one.
Juliana.
Juliana, for sure.
Yeah, she was a guest.
Right.
One of our shows.
And she's performed at DC Art Center.
Tell me about some of the other people you've had that you think are just supreme.
Hope Clark, who's a dancer, is one to look for. Adam Gale, who's a performance artist. Chris Does, who is a dancer and performance artist. Sylvana Straw, Brian Tate, Jarrett Hendrickson, all writers, great. Sharon Morgenthaler, who's a writer. I could go on and on and on.
Well, let me ask you a question that has occurred to me sitting here listening to you. We've got the art establishment, but below that we've got, DC Space, Washington Project for the Arts, a lot of on the same level you are. What is different about you from these other groups?
DC Space is wonderful, but they are primarily music, and that's one of the differences. They're also they're more of an evening, late-night venue. We're much more of a, the gallery's open in the daytime. We are able to have performances in the daytime. We also are more of an early evening kind of thing rather than late night. So it is a different audience. I mean, someone could conceivably go out in Adams Morgan, go out, have dinner, go to DCAC, see a performance, and then go to DC Space, see another performance, and which is kind of nice because we could complement each other in our programming a little bit. And Cynthia
Right.
Connolly, who does programming at DC Space, is always coming up with new people.
And I guess if you're somebody now who's performing in your living room for your friends and neighbors, and if you wanted to try to do something on stage, they should come see you.
Absolutely. Oh, yes. People have just been sort of popping up all over the place saying, we just found out about this place, we heard it's there and we want to perform, how do I do it? Or I have artwork I'd like to get in a show. They're new, their energy level is so high, and it comes out wonderfully because we can fit them on our schedule and give them an audience, help them with promotion, and they get the ball rolling. And I've had people who've performed there who've suddenly gone on to bigger things, like short periods of time, just because they come. I've got art critics, performance critics, come and see them. They get written up or they get talked about. Next thing I know, they're getting asked to perform in Baltimore. You know, it continues.
This is their big break, then, huh? This
Right.
could be
Well,
their big break.
I
huh?
certainly
Or it could be the
hope
start of the road.
well, that's what we're there for. We want to be kind of the platform, the springboard, you know, that
Yes,
little thing
springboard,
that
that's
pushes
okay.
everybody off and says, you know, great, you're talented, make it work.
It's easy to find. It's in Adams Morgan on 18th Street.
2438.
2438,
18th Street.
right above Revolution Books.
Right above
You'll see the
Revolution.
nice little neon DCAC in the window.
And a painted building.
And
I
a
don't think
painted
people
building.
notice that enough. We have this wonderful design all over the front of the building. A local artist, Dennis Houth, did.
Yeah.
And,
You've been there how long?
it's great.
Since last June?
June 16th, 1989.
16th.
We opened our doors to the public, and we have been going strong ever since.
Yeah. Well, maybe you discover some of these talents. You can send them our way. We're looking
Oh,
for.
absolutely.
It's a
We're
work
always
we do.
looking for the interesting, the intriguing,
The
the
odd, the
unusual,
eccentric, the
odd,
unusual.
the weird, the wacky.
But
yes.
you've got Miles.
Yes, we
That's
do.
right. Well, that's why I like to have people on the show. It's good camouflage.
Well, I guess it's time to wrap this up. We got a hot guitarist tuning up over here, and
Mark.
this is going to be a real treat, actually, because most people see Jimmy Thackery on stage with a lot of volume, and we don't get a chance to see him sitting down with just a guitar and playing an acoustical number or two. So sit back and enjoy this.
I'm gonna get up in the morning. You don't believe I dust my broom. I'm gonna get up soon in the morning, baby. I don't believe I dust my broom. I quit the best girl that I'm loving. None of my friends can have my room. I'm gonna ride a letter. Gonna tell every town I know. I'm gonna write me a little baby. Gonna telephone every town I know. If she ain't in West Helena or Arkansas, she's in East Monroe, I know. I said I believe my time ain't long. I believe, babe. I said I believe my time ain't long. I'm gonna get up in the morning, you know, break up my happy home. quit my baby. I believe my time ain't long. I'm gonna quit my baby. You know, break up my happy home. I'm gonna get up in the morning. You know, believe I dust my broom. Yeah. I said I believe I dust my broom. I quit the girl I'm loving her. You know, my friends can have my room. One more time, man.
Okay, that was Phonograph Blues, and this is Jimmy Thackery. People probably remember you mostly with the Nighthawks, but now you're with a new band called The Assaisins.
Right.
And you just got a new CD coming out, is that right?
That's right. We've been working on it we've been working a long time on it, about 2 years, taking our time with it.
What's it called?
It's called Cut Me Loose. And I got the title cut on it. I'm real excited about that. And it's in fine record stores anywhere.
What's the label?
Seymour Records out of North Carolina.
Out of North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
Is it a blues label, mostly?
No, it's really just sort of our own label. Any eccentric projects we want to do, we just do it with that label. We sort of created it ourselves.
Why is it in North Carolina? Is it like Cayman Islands?
That's the guy where the money is. You know, the guy with the money is down there.
Now, the song that you did opening up here, that's not on the album, is it?
No, no, that's not.
Tell us a little bit about that song, just for blues fans.
Phonograph Blues, it's an old Robert Johnson song from the late 20s. And I just happened to do it because I had done an acoustic record with a friend of mine named John Mooney down in Jamaica, and he played that song during that session. I just fell in love with it, so I try to do the best I can with it, and I've tried it today.
Yeah. Well, what's on the album? What's on the CD?
It's an all-original album except for one cut, which is the first record, a remake of the first record I ever made back in 1970. And I just sort of did it for good luck, the one cover.
Yeah, and what's that called?
It's called Keep Cool. It's an old Jerry Ragaboy song that I got from Howard Tate.
You don't have to pay royalties on these things. I mean, when you do like an old blues song, like Robert Johnson song.
You have to pay what's called mechanicals. So yeah, you have to.
You do. So there's some licensing of the song. Somebody owns the song.
Yes, definitely.
Well, that's too bad.
There's no free.
Yeah, I was thinking that's why a lot of people did blues songs. You know, like,
well, those guys are dead.
They're all dead.
Yeah. Now, when people see you play since the beginning, you've always had the hat. Is there any story on that, or is it?
I really don't know how that came about. I just started wearing one day, and it just kind of stayed. I don't know really what it was. And after you've done it enough times and worn it long enough, people expect it. I left it at home one night, and I thought I thought I was going to get killed. It was amazing. So where's your hat?
I'll make you pay to get into the club, right?
I'm sorry.
Do you have a lot of hats, or just the one?
No, I just have this one stinky old.
Well, you should get some backup hats.
Yeah, I should.
How long have you had that one? Have you had that one since the early Nighthawk days? Or?
No, actually, I traded somebody in a ar an old stinky one for this old stinky one.
Oh.
Nice.
I said, I like that one. Here, take this one.
How long are you think you're going to be doing this? You've been doing it for what, 20 years?
Well, what time is it? As long as I can still get around and do it. It's what I do best, and
right.
I don't see any reason to change. I think you were talking earlier about Muddy Waters did it till the day he died. So,
true, exactly.
Why should anybody...
Well, you've already pulled off one of the most miraculous feats that a musician can, and that is support yourself playing music.
Yeah, well, yeah, it is fairly miraculous.
I've probably known a half dozen in my life that could do that.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing.
Rather interesting looking guitar you had there. There must be a story behind that.
Well, it was given to me as a present, and it's a 1934 National Duolian, which obviously is very old, and it was in dilapidated shape. Fortunately, the National people took the neck off it and gave me a brand new one, and now she's flying high. She's doing well.
Well, you told me about it before before we went on the air today, you said that it was made as a promotional item.
Originally, yeah, it was a promotional item for the National Cash Register Company. It was, you know, a $5 or $10 guitar that they sold to people to promote their cash registers.
And it's made out of the same stuff, right?
It's made out of the same stuff, and if you bang
Heavy
on it,
gauge
it sounds
steel.
like a cash register. Yeah.
Well, your new CD, what kind of stuff's on it? A lot of horns?
It's we just have our
Just your
one
basic
horn
band?
player, our one sax player, and it's all original except for one cut, which is the first record I ever made, and I decided to recut it just for good luck.
What was that now? Sort of
It's an old Jerry Ragaboy song called "Keep Cool." And everything else is written by us.
Yeah. You used to be the king of the road. You used to spend about 300 or more days a year on the road. Do you still do that?
No. Getting too old for that. No, it's not really a question of that. It's a question of, while we were putting this band together and trying to get this CD project happening, we decided to stay a little more regional and not expand quite as much as we did. With the Nighthawks, we had been on the road for so many years that we had a huge area to play in where we were well known, but we wanted to stay very sort of regional here until this happened, so we have something to back it up with, you know, back up the touring schedule.
Yeah.
What's the longest time you go out on the road for now?
At this point, we just go out for about 3 or 4 days at a time and then come back. That's all going to change this summer because the powers that be want us to go out and push it a little harder in major markets.
Who are these powers that be?
Actually, it's just some publicists that we've hired in Atlanta that it makes their job an awful lot easier if you go play in other cities.
What kind of places? Mostly East Coast venues?
Well, we'll probably be doing kind of a southern crescent swing. We'll do a couple of those and then probably up towards the New England area and then probably out to the Midwest.
Where's your biggest blues market coming out? Club still?
Yeah, it's still very much alive and happening in the bar circuit.
Right.
Yeah, although it's expanded to. I mean, you're seeing a lot more rhythm and blues acts playing in the bigger stages. Like Stevie Ray Vaughan is playing
mega places.
Mega places and things like that. So it's great.
What? Now the Nighthawks are still out there. Nighthawks are still a band. What happened there? Why did you decide to leave, and why did you go with this group?
Well, it's just simply a factor. You do something long enough, you just want to do something else. And I just kind of, the more I played with these other fellows, the more I realized it was closer to what I really wanted to do. And there was no love lost. It just, I needed a change. I think it was probably good for both of us.
Yeah, change it.
Well, I want to save time for Jimmy to do one more song, but I noticed you got a presidential tie clasp on. How did you get that?
A friend of ours, Lee Atwater, we were doing a benefit for a friend of his, and that was kind of I guess that's what I got paid.
That's what you got paid?
You're part of the Lee Atwater session group now?
No, not at all. We just happened to get a gig for some fun.
Think of his guitar player?
Yeah. Well, he's playing with B.B. King and Chuck Jackson. I guess he's...
Well, he's also president of the National Republican Committee, so I guess he could play with just about anybody he wants to.
Exactly.
Do you think he's any good?
Yeah, I think he's just fine.
I guess you're going to do another song for us, right?
Right. We're going to do an old Elmore James song called Dust My Broom.
Is this another one that we don't hear very often? I take it like the Robert Johnson song.
That kind of thing.
What exactly does that mean, to dust one's broom?
I'm not sure. I'll have to get out my blues colloquialisms and look it up.
Well, let's hear it.
All right.
All right.
Soon in the morning, baby, I don't believe I dust my broom. I quit the best girl that I'm loving. None of my friends can have my room. I'm gonna ride a letter, gonna tell every town I know. I'm gonna write me a letter, baby, gonna telephone every town I know. If she ain't in West Helena or Arkansas, she's in believe, baby. I said I believe my time ain't long. I'm gonna get up in the morning, you know, break up my happy home. Time ain't long. I said I believe my baby. I believe my time ain't long. I'm gonna quit my baby, you know, break up my happy home. I'm gonna get up in the morning, you know, believe I dust my broom. I said I believe I dust my broom. I quit the girl I'm loving her. You know my friends can have my room. One more time.